listen closely. Because what I'm about to tell you may change the way you see yourself and every woman you've ever loved. You've been told women want looks, money, status. You've chased them. You've dressed up, worked harder, tried to impress. And yet, she still looked through you. It's not because you're not enough. It's because no one ever taught you the real language of attraction, the silent psychological rhythm that pulls two souls together before a single word is spoken. Tonight, we're not talking about tricks. We're talking about transformation. 9 traits that make a man quietly magnetic, without pretending, without chasing. Because when you master these, you won't have to go after women. They'll feel your presence and come closer. Before we begin, drop a comment below. What do you think truly draws a woman in? Confidence, kindness, power? Tell me, because I read every single one. And if you're ready to see the world differently, hit that like button. Let's begin. Trait 1. Confidence without arrogance. The quiet power. Confidence isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's not in the volume of your speech, the brand of your watch, or the car you drive. True confidence is something quieter, something felt long before it's seen. It doesn't demand space, it simply occupies it with ease. I remember a man I met years ago, Ethan, from Denver. He wasn't tall, didn't wear expensive suits, and didn't try to dominate conversations. But when he entered a boardroom, the atmosphere shifted. People glanced up, sensing something unspoken. He didn't rush to speak or try to impress. He waited, patient, grounded, until his moment came. And when he finally did speak, every word landed like a calm thunderclap. That's the kind of confidence that can't be faked, because it's not built overnight. It's carved slowly through experience, through loss, through moments when you had no choice but to stand tall. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every time the world tested you and you kept going, that's what forged your quiet power. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from knowing you've been broken and rebuilt, and realizing you're still here. That's what women notice. They can sense a man who doesn't crumble under silence, who doesn't rush to fill the air just to be heard. They feel drawn to the steadiness of a man who owns his calm, who carries peace like a second skin. Arrogance, on the other hand, is insecurity in disguise. It shouts because it fears being unseen. It brags because it doubts its own worth. But a confident man, he doesn't need to prove anything because he already knows who he is. So the next time you enter a room, slow down, breathe. Notice how silence bends in your favor when you're comfortable in it. The next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, resist. Let your stillness speak. Let your composure carry the message that words can't. Because real confidence doesn't need validation. It's the calm in the storm, the quiet center in a noisy world. And when you embody it, people won't just notice you. They'll feel you. Trait 2. Emotional intelligence and empathy, the hidden key to connection. Most men grow up believing that strength means silence, that to be strong, you must lock your emotions behind an unbreakable door. But here's the truth. The man who understands his own heart has more control than the man who hides it. Emotional intelligence isn't weakness, it's mastery. The ability to understand yourself deeply enough to understand others without losing your balance. Sarah, a nurse from Ohio, once told me something that stayed with me. She said, "My husband doesn't try to fix my problems. He just listens. And somehow, that fixes everything." That simple act, listening without trying to win, transforms relationships. Because connection isn't built through solutions. it's built through understanding. Emotional intelligence is the art of reading between the lines, of feeling what isn't said. It's noticing the tension in her shoulders when she says, "I'm fine." It's sensing the shift in her tone, the pause before her words. Most men miss those signals because they're too focused on responding instead of receiving. A man with empathy doesn't drown in emotion. He navigates it. He can sit in discomfort without running from it. When she opens up, he doesn't rush to play hero. He lets her unfold. He listens, not to reply, but to truly hear. Women aren't drawn to men who solve every problem. They're drawn to men who make them feel seen without being judged. The kind of man who can hold space for her emotions because he's already made peace with his own. That's rare. That's magnetic. So next time she talks, don't interrupt with logic or solutions. Sit with her words, look her in the eyes and say, "That sounds hard. Tell me more." You'd be surprised how powerful those 5 words can be. They say, "I see you, I hear you, you're safe here." Because empathy is safety, and safety is irresistible. When a woman feels emotionally understood, attraction isn't just physical anymore, it becomes spiritual. You stop being just a man she likes, you become a man she trusts. That's the hidden key to connection, not dominance, not control, but presence. Real strength isn't in hiding emotion. It's in holding it with grace, patience, and understanding. That's what turns a simple conversation into something unforgettable. Trait 3, ambition and drive, the fire that builds the future. Ambition has been misunderstood for centuries. Some see it as greed, others as ego. But real ambition isn't about money, titles, or applause. It's about hunger. The kind of hunger that keeps you awake at night because you know you're meant for something more. I once met a man in Texas named Michael. He wasn't a CEO or a millionaire. He was a construction worker who woke before dawn every morning, packed his lunch, put on his worn-out boots, and worked 12-hour shifts under the blazing sun. Not for recognition, not for a paycheck, but for a dream. He wanted to start his own company one day. He didn't talk about it much, but you could feel it in the way he moved, with purpose, focus, fire. That's what ambition is. It's not noise, it's direction. It's waking up with a reason. It's having something that pulls you forward even when life tries to hold you back. Women are drawn to men who have that sense of direction, because direction means security. It says, "I know where I'm going." And when a man knows where he's going, he becomes someone others trust to follow. But here's the thing, ambition isn't about already being at the top. It's about climbing with consistency. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be in motion. Set your mission, no matter how small. Read a book that sharpens your mind. Build a skill that elevates your value. Start a project that challenges you. When you move with intention, your energy shifts. You stop drifting. You stop waiting for motivation, and instead, you become the source of it. And women notice. Before they see your face, before they know your name, they feel your drive. Ambition gives your life texture, gravity, and heat. It's what turns ordinary men into creators, leaders, builders of futures. So don't chase wealth or status. Chase mastery. Chase meaning. Because the man who wakes up each day with purpose doesn't need to chase attraction. He becomes the flame that draws it. That's the kind of fire that builds the future. And it starts with one decision, to stop waiting and start becoming. Trait 4, humor and playfulness, the light that melts defenses. Life can be unbearably heavy. The bills pile up, dreams fall apart, and sometimes it feels like the whole world is pressing down on your chest. And yet, in the middle of that weight, there are people who somehow make others breathe again. That's what humor does. It gives life oxygen. I once met a couple in Chicago. She had just lost her job, her eyes still swollen from crying. He walked into the kitchen, set a mug in front of her that said, "Retired CEO of Stress, Inc." She stared at it, confused for a second, then burst out laughing. It wasn't loud laughter, it was the kind that shakes the sadness loose. Later that night she told him, "You're the reason I can breathe again." That's the quiet power of humor. It doesn't erase pain, it transforms it. It reminds us that life, no matter how hard, still has warmth hiding inside it. But don't mistake humor for being a clown. You don't need to crack constant jokes or perform for attention. True humor comes from freedom, the ability to laugh at yourself, to find light in your own imperfections, to not take life or ego too seriously. Women are drawn to that kind of man, not because he entertains them, but because he liberates them. Laughter says, "You're safe with me. You don't have to be perfect here." And that sense of emotional safety is rare. It's what makes people open up, let down their guard, and trust. Think about it. When you can make her laugh in the middle of an argument, or smile when everything feels uncertain, you're not just funny, you're strong. You're saying, even when life throws chaos at us, I can still find the calm. So, start small. Laugh at your mistakes. Find humor in the unpredictability of life. Make light of what tries to darken you, because laughter isn't weakness, it's resilience with a grin. When you carry that kind of energy, people feel lighter just being near you. And she won't just remember what you said, she'll remember how you made her feel. Safe, warm, free. That's not just humor. That's connection. And in a world full of noise, it's the sound of peace. Trait 5. Stability and dependability. The calm within the storm. A storm doesn't build character, it reveals it. When life collapses, when plans fall apart, when fear creeps in, that's when a man's true nature is exposed. Anyone can appear confident when things are easy, but when chaos arrives, only the grounded remain steady. Think back to the pandemic years. The world went silent, cities emptied, uncertainty ruled every conversation. Some men panicked, lost in the noise of fear. Others stayed centered. They became anchors, steady hands in a trembling world. Their calmness gave others something to hold on to. That's stability. That's dependability. Women aren't drawn to men who control everything. They're drawn to men who don't need to. The ones who can meet pressure with composure. The ones who can say, "We'll figure this out," and actually mean it. Emotional stability isn't about having all the answers. It's about keeping your center when the answers don't come. It's in how you handle stress, how you respond when someone lashes out at you, how you stay patient when life seems unfair. Stability isn't a single act. It's a rhythm, a quiet discipline that builds over time. Start with the small things. Wake up early. Keep promises, even the ones you make to yourself. Maintain routines that ground you, your workout, your work ethic, your spiritual habits. These aren't just rituals, they're architecture for the soul. Because a stable man doesn't get that way by luck, he builds it brick by brick. Each time he chooses patience over anger, action over anxiety, consistency over chaos, he becomes stronger. And when a woman sees that steadiness in you, something shifts. She relaxes. She feels safe. Not because you can protect her from every problem, but because she knows you won't crumble when the storm hits. In a world that's unpredictable, full of noise and panic, calmness is magnetic. It's rare, its power wrapped in peace. So be the man who breathes evenly when others lose their air. Be the stillness in the hurricane. Because when you master your emotions, you don't just survive the storm. You become the lighthouse that guides others through it. Trait 6. Passion and enthusiasm, the flame of life. Passion is life's electricity, the invisible current that makes everything brighter, warmer, more alive. You can see it in a man's eyes when he talks about something that matters to him. The tone of his voice changes, his posture lifts, the air around him feels different. Passion is magnetic, and everyone feels it, even before they understand why. Jake, a mechanic from California, spends his weekends restoring old motorcycles. To most people, it's just a hobby. But when Jake talks about the hum of a rebuilt motor, the smell of oil and metal, or the moment an engine roars back to life, there's something sacred in his voice. He's not talking about machines, he's talking about resurrection, about breathing life into something broken. That's what passion really is. It's not about the thing itself, it's about what it awakens in you. It's the fire that reminds you who you are when the world tries to make you forget. Women are deeply drawn to that kind of energy. Not because they care about the same hobby, but because passion signals vitality. It tells her you're alive inside, that you're connected to something greater than routine and comfort. A man who has passion doesn't drain energy, he creates it. But here's the mistake many men make. They direct all their passion toward a woman. They make her the center of their world, and in doing so, lose themselves. No woman wants to carry that weight. What she truly wants is a man already lit from within, a man who loves his life so deeply that she wants to be part of it. So find your spark. Maybe it's music, fitness, building, storytelling, nature, whatever makes your soul come alive. Give yourself permission to be fully absorbed in it. Let it feed your spirit. Because passion is contagious. When you're excited about life, others feel it. They're drawn to your energy, your curiosity, your sense of wonder. You don't have to chase love when you're already in love with living. That's the secret. The man who moves through the world with passion doesn't just attract attention, he commands it. Because he's not waiting for something to excite him. He is the excitement. Trait 7. Mystery and independence. The unreadable allure. Don't give everything away too soon. Mystery isn't about playing games, it's about pacing. It's the art of revealing yourself slowly, piece by piece, with confidence and intention. In a world where everyone overshares, where every thought is posted and every emotion is broadcast, mystery has become a rare and powerful language. A photographer in New York named Alex once told me, "People are addicted to what they can't fully define." He was right. His work wasn't about showing everything, it was about what he chose to leave in shadow. That's what drew people in. They leaned closer, trying to understand, unable to look away. That's why mystery works in life and love alike. It's not deception, it's discipline. When you live fully, when you pursue your passions, when your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else, you become the kind of man who intrigues without effort. You become a story worth discovering, one chapter at a time. Women are naturally drawn to curiosity. They want to explore you, not consume you. When you share everything too fast, your past, your plans, your emotions, you remove the thrill of discovery. But when you hold something back, not out of fear, but out of confidence, you create space for attraction to grow. Mystery isn't silence, it's selectivity. It's choosing when and how to open up. It's letting her see your strength before your scars, your passion before your pain. It's knowing that real intimacy comes not from exposure, but from trust earned over time. And independence is the foundation of that mystery. A man who has his own world, his own friends, dreams and routines, signals that he's whole without anyone's approval. That kind of energy is rare. It says, "You can join my life, but I don't need you to complete it." So don't rush to explain yourself. Don't fill every silence. Let her wonder where you're going, what you're thinking, what you're creating. Give her something to earn, something to explore. Because the man who reveals himself layer by layer never loses her curiosity. He's not a puzzle to be solved. He's a story to be experienced. And the moment she realizes that, she'll stop chasing attention and start chasing you. Trait 8. Kindness and compassion. Strength in softness. Kindness has been mistaken for weakness for far too long, but real kindness isn't born from emptiness. It's born from strength, from the quiet confidence of a man who has enough within himself to give without losing balance. I once saw a man in Seattle step out of a cafe during a downpour to help an elderly woman struggling with her groceries. He didn't speak, didn't look for gratitude. He just smiled, held the bags, and walked with her to her car, completely soaked by the rain. When she turned to thank him, her voice trembled as she said, "You made me feel the world wasn't so cruel." That's the kind of power kindness carries. It doesn't demand recognition. It doesn't need to be seen. It simply acts. Compassion is quiet courage, the willingness to care even in a world that tells you not to. But here's the truth. Kindness without boundaries isn't virtue, it's self-erasure. True kindness knows when to give and when to walk away. It helps without sacrificing dignity. Women can sense that difference. They're drawn to men who care deeply yet stand firmly. A man who listens with patience, who speaks with gentleness, but who can also say no when it's needed, because strength and softness aren't opposites, they're partners. So be kind, help when you can, smile often, but never mistake compassion for compliance. The man who gives without losing himself becomes unforgettable, not because he's nice, but because he's grounded, rare, and real. Kindness is the quiet mark of abundance. And in a world full of hardness, it's the one thing that never goes unnoticed. Trait 9. Physical presence and charisma. The art of commanding a room. Charisma has nothing to do with how you look. It's about how you move through space. It's an energy, a quiet gravity that makes people take notice without knowing why. It's in the way you walk into a room, shoulders back, eyes steady, pace unhurried. It's in the calm confidence of your body language, the focus in your gaze, the stillness between your words. Charisma isn't loud, it's controlled. It's the art of presence, being so grounded in who you are that others naturally align with your rhythm. Stand tall, speak slowly, move deliberately. Every gesture, every glance should say, "I'm in control of myself." Because that's what people respond to, not the words, but the energy behind them. A charismatic man doesn't chase attention, he commands it through calm self-assurance. When he speaks, people listen. When he's silent, they lean in. So take care of yourself, your posture, your hygiene, your voice. These aren't surface details, they're signals of self-respect. The way you carry your body tells the world how you feel about yourself. Because when you respect yourself deeply, others will follow suit. That's the secret of charisma. It's not about shining brighter than everyone else. It's about becoming so centered that the whole room shifts toward your light. Closing reflection, transformation and action. Now you know the 9 traits, but knowing means nothing without living them. Start today. Pick one trait, just one, and practice it. Face discomfort, build consistency. Because these aren't tricks to get women. They're habits that build men. The kind of man who doesn't chase love, he becomes it. So comment below, which trait will you master first? Confidence, mystery, kindness. And if this message reached you, like the video, subscribe, and stay for what's coming next. Because this isn't just about attraction. It's about evolution. And when you change within, the world begins to follow.